So we are finally good. I know it took 6.5 years, but again, it's worth it. It is worth it. We have all of our player goals and everything set up for the year. However, we have some slight complications. First and foremost, of course, the biggest question mark is whether or not Jack Ivankovic is going to take this offer that we gave him. We are on borrowed time with Jack being our starter. It's depressing, and I hate it. Secondly, we have too many players for too few spots, and it's led to now we are boosting up like AHL level talent, so the Lions obviously aren't going to be what they're going to be in the playoffs, but we can kind of look at the AHL for that. The biggest question, because we're going to go skill line, defense, defense. On the skill line, second line can either be Taves, Diorio, and Spence, or it can be Taves, Stenberg, and Diorio. So it comes down to Spence, oh boy, or Stenberg, and then unfortunately, Lyndon Ivankovic is competing directly with Greg Taves for a second-line left-wing power forward position. We're going to go with Taves because he could win the Calder. So Lyndon Ivankovic, I tried to get him to change to Grinder to save him, to have him in that role on the third line. He's not willing to do it. It's the last year of his deal anyway. He's someone we probably would have been able to sign for that 8-year contract, but Lyndon is pretty much confirmed to be gone. And the reason why I absolutely have to trade certain people is I need to free up a roster spot or two for cap whales. So we're in a bit of trouble there. So Lyndon Ivankovic, we know is gone no matter what. Apparently we can get a couple of dudes actually. I was going to say a decent dude. Second and a third rounder's not bad. Because again, it's the roster spot that I need. So yeah, a second and a third from Colorado. See you later, Lyndon. Thank you for your service. But it was time for you to go. And then Stenberg or Spence. One more player has to go. Stenberg, 24 years old, but as a playmaker, 93 passing, 89 offensive awareness. Great skater. Malcolm Spence has done well in the playoffs before, but did very poorly this past year. Only 84 speed, 88 passing. Did Ottawa get us again in round one? They sure did. Last year of Spence's deal as well. What could we get for Malcolm? Zuzan, who we know sucks. Ronik Fehervari. We'd have to find a custom trade for Spence. If we were to go for Stenberg, second rounders, Girard, Ikola. We don't need Demko. Okay. It's a custom trade no matter what. We did just re-sign Stenberg for 8 years. If we can get him to develop this year, then we're not in a bad spot. Have we considered trading for Dostal? Yes. So I think Malcolm Spence's time with the team has unfortunately come to a close. With him, we could look to get somebody half decent back. Nobody on Anaheim fits the bill. Preferably it is Western Conference only. Richard's not terrible. Robidah's only a medium 9. Chicago, no crazy prospects. Colorado, no crazy prospects. Nobody on Dallas. Nobody on Edmonton. Nobody on Los Angeles. Minnesota has Smith Pelly. 66 at 18. Trenton Smith Pelly, 6'4", power 4. Okay. That wouldn't be too bad. So Minnesota might be the landing spot. Montreal has a Dryden. Again, we're not doing trades with Eastern Conference teams. San Jose has a dude named Geet, 74 at 20. 66 at 18. So again, the guy on Minnesota, 66 at 18. We could pull off the double, Geet and Shepard. I would then probably have to get rid of Karmanoff, but that's something someone I'd be willing to risk here. St. Louis, Utah, nobody crazy. Vancouver, nobody crazy. Vegas, nobody crazy. And your Winnipeg Jets. Okay, well, then we know our deal. We're going to be sending Malcolm Spence out to San Jose for, let's take a look here, Wyatt Geet and Christopher Shepard. I am okay with this. San Jose would be over the cap. Well, I'll just retain on Spence, whatever. I think it's been proven players play better on other teams, not Tuki's team. That's true. Oh, yeah, Dostal would be horrific if we acquired him. Horrific. All right. Can I also get your second rounder in this deal? And your third? I mean, this could be a really good deal for us unless Spence just goes off. Yeah, there we go. So 2 prospects, a second and a third. Malcolm Spence on his way out. Hate to do it, but it had to be done. We'll go best lines for the moment because now I still need to make one more trade. And unfortunately, it's got to be the big man, Karmanoff. If I could switch him to an enforcer, I would. But right now, we don't have the ability to switch players to enforcers. He can't skate. He just can't. If I could make him an enforcer, I could kind of hold him around on the 4th line a little bit. But it's just not going to work. Is there any team that's interested in him out of the West that has roster space? Minnesota, actually. But again, I cannot take back that prospect this time. So we'll send the Russian out to Minnesota. The Moldovan Russian. And, yeah. Well, it's cold there. He'll be happy. Low 7th, low 9. Tack these guys on. And, medium bottom 6, Bigris. Medium bottom 6, Morose. There you go, Minnesota. Thank you very much for the third. And unfortunately, Karmanoff is gone. Okay. So now I just need to double check. These were our top 6 defensive prospects by potential, with 2 guys that we cannot send down to get the preseason training. And then for the forwards, Robashabi didn't want to improve. Pre-stop, if he gets better, that's fine. Geet, Damfus could both get called up. And then centers. Okay, so I'm just going to have to double check potentials. So let's see. Again, Teifel we don't want becoming a 4th liner. Bodens we don't want becoming a 4th liner. So Geet's a medium 6. Damfus a low 6. Shepard's a medium 6. So do we have like medium 9s on this roster? Medium 6, low 6 Anderson. Medium 6, medium 9 for Nyquist. Another low 6, but he's better than Anderson. Okay. And another low 6 Mathot, but he's pretty good. Cool. All right, so that'll be it for preseason training. Then we're going to do the 5-on-5 focus again. Now I have the roster spot to sign a cap whale goalie, and we should be good. And hopefully this is the year. Hopefully. Aiden Hill or Alex Nedeljkovic. Actually, in fairness, our goalie is a fucking 48 overall. There's no way I can make sure he's the starter. But, yeah, I mean, if he's going to be a backup anyway, we might as well give the team a chance to win. Let's bring back Aiden Hill. Why not? He was really good for us previously. Not so much last year. But if we can bring in Aiden Hill, then we should, as our one designated cap whale. And he'll end up being the AHL starter with, what was his face? The German there, Peterman, the Peter meme, as his backup. And hopefully Peterman gets some decent playing time. So we are good, except for coaching staff. Cheval Dave, it's just not it, man. Stahl, veteran focus, style being teacher. Might be worth giving him a try here. I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe we just go completely outside the box and give him an opportunity here. Send down Hilbert. Shovel Dave gets the bump up. This guy gets the bump up. Copeland is the goalie coach. A veteran-focused teacher. That's a combination. It's kind of oxymoronic in a way, isn't it? Are there any other good coaches that were out there? There is Campbell. Now, some of these guys, of course, rejected previously, which is a pain in the ass. Is there even like a half-decent goalie coach? No, okay, Mendez. He's fine. Now, obviously, we've been able to develop players without having to really use AHL goalie coaches, but given that our guy's a 48 right now, I want to make sure we have a better shot. So, and then our scouts, got to fix it every goddamn year. Every year. It's the most tedious thing about franchise. It really is. Okay, cool. Everything else is nice, though. All right. So, sim to regular season. Mendez said no as a goalie coach, so whatever. I tried. Jack Ivankovic has rejected again. So, I don't know if Jack is going to be here or not this season. It might be the Colts off era. Our goal for the season, apparently, is still to compete for the Cup. And our preseason focus, of course, will be 5-on-5 to improve the youths of the team by a significant amount. I'm just going to let Jackie sit for the moment. There is a chance he has played his final game as a penny pincher already. And I hate that so much. So much. All right. Let's see. There we go. Roster's in effect. We'll have the waivers that we have to worry about potentially. But contracts. Jack. What are we looking at here, buddy? I can sign you to that. I can. I've offered it before, basically. And you've said no. 8-year deal. He wants $15 million. And the most we can sign someone to right now is 6,775. One-year deal at 6,775, Jack. One more try. Trade him at the deadline. There's a chance we're going to have to, especially if he doesn't sign. So Koltsov and James as the goalies right now. Ooh, Peterman's already up by 2 points. How do you like that? Defensively, nobody that we're sending down is going to be affected by waivers, which is good. We need to call up DuPont, Cripps, and Cameron. We also need to call up Kavasha, drop down Stewart, Dahl, and Corey, while also going over here and calling up Green and Wiesblatt, whatever it may be. So again, our defense, I still like the looks of it a lot. Right wing side, Green, Wiesblatt, Latikainen's almost ready to go now. But he is going to go... Ooh, he's on waivers. 20. Ooh. I don't know if I can risk losing Esa Latikainen on waivers. He's not bad, but he might just have to be a healthy scratch for the year. We'll have to make a decision there. Left wing side, Pre-Stop's going to be on the team. Lasse Koko, if we lose him, he's 24. That's not as damaging. Kevin He gets a call up again. Apparently I'd be under the cap. How? Do I have to call up Aiden Hill to be fine? It's doing that weird cap thing again where it's being weird and I don't like it. We'll see if I can... I might not be able to properly fix the team for the moment. I mean, granted, I do have some of the big centers to call up. Samisa, Diorio, Eyes, Wozniak. Send down Coco. Am I allowed to send down Aiden Hill? I am. Will we lose Lasse Coco? No, we won't. Okay. Coco makes it through waivers. Now we have Taves. Stenberg is now a third liner. I think we might have made a right choice holding on to him. We got to send down these 3. Teifel didn't make the cut yet. We have Erzberg, Kaltonen, and Mathot as the final 3 to send down. Kaltonen has to go through waivers. 24 years old, 4th liner. Maybe we hold on to him too. And I might have to rock Aiden Hill. Am I allowed to have Aiden Hill? It's really weird what the game's doing, but we are cap compliant. We are good to go. It's just, do we want to risk losing Kaltonen? It might just be better to trade him to at least get something for him. And in Latikainen, we would definitely lose. I just can't afford to have him sit out for the year, you know? So if we go best lines, we might have to slightly change things up here. So we want, and it's a bit risky because Misa has developed really well on draws, but I want to try out Misa, Eyes, Wozniak, and Green. Misa will still be a center on the top power play, though. Second line is Taves with Stenberg and Diorio. Third line is Rogowski, and Wiesblatt. And then pre-stop. You know, I actually needed a 4th line center. I forgot about that. So Kaltonen's perfect. Congratulations, Marco. You made the team. There you go. Congratulations. And then Zether. That right wing side is stacked. Center depth, a little bit weaker than it's typically been. Obviously, it could be a little bit better if I elected to make a slight change. We could go Taves, Misa, Green, and help Taves win the Calder. Stenberg, Wozniak, Diorio. And that way it's playmaker, power forward, sniper on each line, just to see if that'll benefit us slightly. That might be the way to do it. That might be the way to do it. So Taves, Misa, and Green. Stenberg, Woz, and Oreo. Rogo, and the Weissblatts. Pre-stop. Kaltonen. That's not bad. That's not bad. That looks pretty good. It has our center depth be a bit stronger. And again, tries to brute force Taves into winning the Calder. Defensively, it might not work well with this coach. Might need a different coach. But Harris, DuPont, Miller, Cripps, Kvasha, Cameron might need to find what coach is the best fit for the team. If we care that much about chemistry, which I don't know if we should or shouldn't. And Koltsov and James. Sign a defensive coach, not a bad option. We'll double check the Lone Sharks lines in a minute. Who is the best coach for us to have? Because this was the whole veteran teacher thing, which is really weird and not going to work. The teaching specialty is veterans. It's so weird. Cheveldave is the offensive coach that we've had for a while. Isn't he right wing? No, Kevin, he is left wing, right wing. Ozzy's right wing, left wing, the inverse. He is a left wing. The generalist Stevens, physical for Copeland, but he's the goalie coach. We actually don't have a coach whose specific style is defense. We could try again to bring back Gordy Campbell, who previously rejected our offer to come back to the organization. Gordy, would you like to sit at home? Or would you like to be the head coach of an NHL team? It's pretty simple. Granted, I'm not offering you the role of NHL head coach, but that's because you got to earn it by signing with the team. And we shouldn't play a game before we hear back from him. I lied. So we'll play the first game against Minnesota. Gordy does sign. Jack Ivankovic still rejects. And we beat Minnesota 6-5. Not the most convincing one in the world, is it? A great debut for Koltsov. Right. So we're going to make this guy just because I guess it's like a goalie coach in the AHL because he's a teacher, but he helps with veterans. It's so weird. Yeah, that whole taxes setting is really coming back to haunt us. Really coming back to haunt us. I want Stevenson there. Let's see. That works. At least I think it does. So let's double check what the NHL lines look like after that coaching swap. +5, +1, 0, and 1. Yeah, let's see. He left wing, right wing, and then Weisblatt, right wing, left wing. So defensively, it's at least even. It's at least even, which I will accept that. I will accept that. I mean, big boy, you're not wrong. You don't have to say it. Ooh, okay. I like a 1-3-1 power play. I like that a lot. Okay, so top power play unit is going to be Misa with Taves and Green. And then we will go... Ooh. Do we go with the multi-defenseman setup, or do we get extra forwards? I think we go with the multi-defensive setup. So DuPont and Harris are going to get the opportunity. I'm all right with Jordan Harris playing the point there as the last line of defense and letting DuPont get a little bit more involved. I want Taves in front of goal because he's a bigger guy. This power play on paper could rip people apart. Distributor needs to be Misa. Finisher is Green. Puck carrier. Ooh, could go DuPont. Could go with Taves just to I feel like Taves will still get enough points. Let's go with Landon DuPont. Let's go with DuPont. DuPont. All right, and then the power play. Harris at the point. DuPont can go there. We want Taves closer to the front of the goal. It puts Green into a bit of an out-of-the-way spot for face-offs, but that's not that big of a deal. And then that second power play is going to be Wozniak. We want Oreo on the right. And Stenberg on the left. No power play time for Ozzy this year. And then that second power play is Keandre Miller. It's so weird to see him here. And Brock Cripps. So Cripps gets the opportunity to gallop a little bit. And swap Stenberg, Diorio. Have eyes Wozniak in front. Distributor Stenberg. Finisher Diorio. Puck carrier Brock Cripps. These power plays should be good, man. They really should be. I'm good with that. And then the PK, just out of intrigue. Kaltonen and Weisblatt. Misa and Zether. Wozniak pre-stop. Okay. Try Latikainen over Zether. So Latikainen, though, he was a playmaker, wasn't he? He is. So the only guy who Latikainen... Oof, I don't even know how we'd get him into the lineup. I'd have to take a look. Should be asleep right now, but my roommate fell out of his chair and can't fall asleep. Now you're stuck with me. Well, Jay Marty, I'm happy to have you here, though. So you make it sound like a punishment, but it's not. So again, because I'm trying to stay to pretty strict player types, Latikainen really could only replace Stenberg. And not particularly well either. I don't want to get rid of Esa Latikainen because he looks pretty damn good, but he would have to clear waivers. So the only thing we could really do is trade somebody or him, or we just leave Latikainen as a healthy scratch for the majority of the season and then send him down to the AHL for the Calder Cup playoffs, which could also work. Get Gleboff out of there for Peter Meme. Defensively, Dahl Stewart, Corey Valine, Matsumoto, and Brain. We wanted Sugihara and Petralainen in there. Low overalls, but who knows? Maybe we can get him to develop. Valine was a medium 6. Corey is a low elite. Stewart's a medium elite. Oof. Okay, well. We will go with something like that then for the defense. And then for the forwards, we know we have quite a few good prospects in the mix here. Carpenter's a medium 6, isn't he? Yes. Anderson's only a low 6. And then Dom Foose. We know Shepard's a medium 6. Ross is a medium 6. We've done a pretty good job of stocking up the cupboards again in terms of prospects. I like it. Medium 6s everywhere. We got a couple of low 6s to send down. I want to prioritize potential, and then playoffs. We'll just go best lines possible. That is a lot of medium 6 forwards. And Dom Foose was a low 6 at a 68. Nyquist is a medium 9. Anderson's a low 6. I think we leave it, based off a rating at least. All right, so Coco, Nicholas, and Mathot. And from here, we'll go Shepard, Ross, and Carpenter. Who has the best face-offs between these two? By 1 point, it's Shepard. Clutterbuck, Erzberg, Geet, and then Teifel 65, Boden's Rope. That's a good team, man. That's a good team. That top line should do very, very well for themselves. I'm intrigued to see how we do. Very intrigued. We have actually one more thing to address. That is the new captain of the team. It has given Aussie captaincy. I think we got to give Jordan Harris a letter. He deserves it. I'm not against Aussie having a letter either. I do think it's Michael Misa's team. We go as far as Misa can carry us. He's been built up with the likes of Alex Turcotte, Cole Caulfield around him. It is now time for Michael Misa to shine. Or we are going to sink like a stone. We are going to sim to November 1st and check back in with Ivankovic. Try to negotiate again. Obviously, December 1st is our deadline for getting Ivankovic signed. Otherwise, he sits out for the year. At that point, we might as well trade him. Let's see. Oh, man, we started off hot, but... Misa sacrifice so much for this team. At least $6 million a year. 6-4-0, Captain Jar Jar. Hoping to see him lead the way. We are 9th in goals for, 10th in goals against. First power play in the league, 24th on the PK, though. Kirill Koltsov in goal, 907 save percentage, but it is still early. Mr. Ivankovic. Mr. Ivankovic. I feel like Twitch is trying to force me to buy a McDonald's since they gave me the same ads. Oof, Jesus. Again, the necessary evil known as ads. I wish I could control what people see, but obviously it's all freaking algorithmic. I'd be like, yes, I'd love to. Knowing me, I'd only run ads that feature cute dogs. I'll get paid less because it's not the big ads. But also, hey, it's kind of nice to know McDonald's is advertising on my channel. I'm getting the big ads, Mom. I'm a big streamer. I'm not just getting, like, fucking third-rate Family Dollar toothpaste ads, which is what I thought I'd be getting. So that's nice. That's nice. RFA status. Ivankovic. I don't think he's going to sign. I don't think he is. His asking price hasn't gone any lower. 6% Swedish ads. So see, I'm only important in Sweden. Okay, that makes sense. In fairness, Sweden, Finland, Norway. I love you. So, one more time, Jackie. Take the contract, buddy, unless you want to sit out all year. I can't even tell you to win the Vezina this year. Shit, wrong button. Shout out to Stenberg, though, leading the team in points right now. I mean, he is playing with the Oreo. Guys, I think we have to debate trading Jack Ivankovic here. Oh, this sucks. This sucks. We have a little bit more time, but there is a very strong possibility that Ivankovic has played his last game as a penny pincher. Any other franchise, any other one, and I would sign him for the big money contract that I never give goalies. We have our update, the conversations. Brooks Rogowski switches from a two-way to a grinder. I might live to regret that, but he does get the slight attribute boost, which was the goal. So now that third line has he and Ozzy as grinders, but Ozzy is attempting to switch to a two-way. So we might just be inverting the roles. We'll see. But thank you very much, Mr. Rogowski. What else are we going to hear from? Ozzy, speak of the devil. Does not switch to a two-way. That's a shame. Went to the conference finals. JJ Peterka wouldn't sign with me because he considered us not a Stanley Cup contender. He knows the fall's coming. The downfall's on its way. I'd listen to him. Oh, not willing to become a two-way. That's all right, Jackson. That's all right. He's he's the future. He's got the foresight. He can see the future teller. JJ Peterka. Marco Colton doesn't switch. Whatever. Oh, God. Michael Teifel, 65. Again, I wish for these, like, it would just be like a mailbox response and not have to be tied into clicking on everybody. Yeah, we got a lot of guys who haven't switched. It's amazing how many players that, like, fail to respond, and then the ones that do, they still end up failing a month and a half later in terms of player type or secondary position, anything like that. It is a pain. It is what it is. Lyndon Lakovic, who isn't even on the team anymore, so hopefully this doesn't break the game. Looks like he developed right wing. Good for you, Lyndon. I'm sure you're very happy on your new team. Aiden Bowdens. It doesn't switch anything, but okay. Landon DuPont. Most of these guys just are not responding at all to what we're trying to do, which sucks because it's so beneficial when it works. Brock Cripps can now properly play lefty, which for a lot of defensemen, I was just trying to get them to develop the dual role, just in case power play factored in. Sam Karmanoff. Do you think the offseason stuff and the coaching focused preseason goal will eventually get nerfed? Maybe. I could see it getting slightly adjusted. Obviously, I feel like when most people hear the term nerf, they just immediately think it becomes useless. Whereas, the actual term is just, hey, it gets adjusted a little bit. Which, yeah, I think you could argue for some of these, some might just be a little bit too more useful than others. My experience of franchise so far, I'm alternating between 3 different ones in the preseason. I'd like to be able to use more depending on what I'm trying to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get adjusted and a little bit more balanced out. Particularly the 5-on-5 focus, because it just means so much for the overall, right? The goalie one's crazy too. We are 6th in goals for, 12th in goals against. First power play, 12th ranked PK. However, we do not have Jack Ivankovic. And Jack, this is pretty much it, buddy. Yeah, fucking boys to men. End of the road. Okay, he has dropped his asking price again. by about 400K. One more shot, Jack. One more. One more. If this doesn't work, we're going to have the other opportunity to just last shot, offer him what he's asking for, and see if it's like glitched. But will Jackie be back? He's back! It took a while. But midway through 2032-33, or at least a quarter of the way through, Jack Ivankovic has signed. That is one hell of a mid-season boost. Welcome back, Jack. Welcome back. Koltsov was doing okay. Same for James, but they weren't unbelievable. We are going to be able to send James down to the AHL to be the starter, with Peterman being the backup. So down goes James. It's an Ivankovic-Koltsov combination in goal now. Some people aren't too happy about it, but it is what it is. Is it the last hurrah for Jack Ivankovic, though? And then James will now be the AHL starter, and he should just destroy worlds down there. Trade Jack at the deadline. Well, what I wanted to check now, I think he still has one more RFA year left. He does. He's still an RFA at the end of this deal. So we can keep him for the rest of the year and move him at the draft with just as much trade value. So we're good. We're good. But this next contract would be the last one we're able to negotiate with him. And that's where it gets scary, right? That's where it gets scary. But we do have him for this year. You are the starter. Shut up. He is still an RFA for another year, yeah. I don't know how. I thought it would have expired by now, but I'm not complaining. So. But we have him for one more year. It is probably the last hurrah based off of the troubles we had in contract negotiations before. It's tough to envision a scenario where he gets another year here, because this went down to the wire. You know, we had less than 2 weeks to go before it would have been confirmed that he was sitting out for the entire season. So, yeah, Jake, you're good. Honestly, I didn't even know he still had that 1 year left until we were talking negotiations, and I went to 2 years, and I still couldn't add a no movement clause. That was the tell. This team's still cruising. Boston ahead of us in the division, still looking very good as well. But 25-10-2. As of January 1st, we are 6th in goals for, 5th in goals against, top power play in the league, 5th best penalty kill, with Captain Michael Misa. Jar Jar leading the way in scoring. Taves already showing up as an 85. He has 20 points in 37 games. Could very well be on his way to winning the Calder. Misa, 14 goals, 32 assists. 26 goals in 37 games for Ruben Green. His goal this year is to hit 50 to develop Gold Schneip, and he is on pace to do so. Let's go, Ruben. Second line, Stenberg, 5 goals, 22 assists. Not bad. Not bad. 26 points for Eyes Wozniak. Not bad at all. And 17 and 15 for Alessandro Diorio. 32 points in 37 games. Can't complain. Now, again, the one thing that we could have done as well was go Green, Misa, Diorio. But I feel like trying to get Taves the Calder is good for the long-term future of the team. Kevin He, 8 points, -7. Ugh. 11 points, -4 for Rogowski. 9 points, -1 for Ozzy. He's going to lose his abilities. And then a fourth line, Pre-Stop, 8 goals and an assist, -4. Kaltonen, not bad on 12 points, and 11 for Zether. Now, technically, Rogowski's still a depth forward. We can swap he and Kaltonen just to see if the fourth line looks better like that. So we'll try that. Defensively, Harris, 22 points and a +8. 31 points and a +7 for DuPont. I'm still concerned that he's only a top 4, apparently. Miller, 19 points and a +9. 27 points and a +8 for Brock Cripps. Okay. And then Kavasha, 8 points, -1, 5 points, -3 for Carson Cameron. In goal, Ivankovic, 13 games played, a 9.11 with a 2.69 goals against average. 8 wins, 3 of them via shutout. And Koltsov now up to a 9.15. Koltsov's doing better in that backup role. And of course, Esa-Latikainen just still kind of hanging around. So we're looking good. AHL-wise, we're already seeing some player development here on the top line. Like, the organization as a whole is still looking quite healthy. James is doing well in the AHL, but not quite destroying worlds. Felix Peterman is dreadful, but that's kind of by design. We're just thrown into the wolves, trying to brute force that development. Let's move on. Let's move on. I think pretty much, a week before the trade deadline can be our next stopping point. See what we have. Oh, man. See what we have going on there. In terms of anybody that we might want to sign. Or, any acquisitions, trades. Maybe not so much anybody that we want to sign. I guess we could technically look ahead to the draft or something like that. Upcoming free agents. All that fun stuff. Right now, I'm focused on the fact that we can't catch the Boston Bruins to save our lives. The Bruins are just so good. Worried about the bottom 6? I think that's a fair assessment. Oh, Elias Pettersson's on waivers. I think it's actually not that bad, but we don't need him. Sorry, Mr. Elias Pettersson. The superior Pettersson. Wasn't that James' NHL numbers showing the correct league? Yeah, it actually might have still been his NHL numbers. You're right. The games look good, but I'm like, it was believable that he had the same save percentage. So, Evan Naus on waivers. Again, not bad, but nobody that we need. We only have one free roster spot, so. We're cruising. It's a very competitive Atlantic Division again. And we have lost a few games more here and there. Bruins already on 40 wins. We play them less than a week's time. 37, 17, and 6. We are 13th in goals for, 8th in goals against. Power play and PK both top 5. Misa, 75 points on the year. Ivankovic with just a 905 save percentage. Interesting. Obviously, our power play has been top 5 all year. Our PK has gotten better as the year's gone on. That month, though, our goals for definitely started to drop. Let's take a look at a few things here. Taves is a shoo-in for the Calder. He's got to be. Got to be. Misa on 75 points. 42 goals now for Green. 8 away. He had to have had a slow last month, right? Kind of. November, he was red hot, though. So that's kind of what we're comparing him to. Diorio, Wozniak, Stenberg. How's the bottom 6 doing? We'll look at the second line here really quickly anyway. Stenberg on 35 assists. He needed 40 to get silver third eye. So, in terms of replacing Malcolm Spence with Ivar Stenberg, that seems to be going well. 40 points for Eyes Wozniak isn't bad. 26-23 for Diorio. Okay, the bottom 6 definitely isn't clicking the way that I wanted it to. Kevin He has a significantly worse plus-minus than anybody else that we're looking at here. Holtonen's not bad. Rogowski. Maybe we go pre-stop, Rogowski, Weissblot. He is a third liner, but if he gets mad, whatever. We'll try that as well. We'll keep mixing and matching with the fourth line. I don't think there's going to be like this one big signing to bring in. It just might be that we have to rely on certain call-ups come playoff time. And a DuPont, 50 and 60 as a defenseman. Cripps looking good. No complaints about the defense. We do need Ivankovic to step up, though. We do. Like, in real life, you'd be talking about, like, man, he really missed the start of the year and he's struggling. In this, it's just, no, he's struggling. And I don't know. I guess you could argue. Got the Lily John. What's going up? I guess you could argue, like, a coaching change again. But, I mean, I feel like the team's playing well. So I don't plan on making any moves at the trade deadline. So we've lost 3 in a row, including one to Boston. Just beat Minnesota, though. Not too worried about what happens at the trade deadline. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Patrick Demko just got moved. I don't know. We'll see how we do in March. If we fall from second in the division, there might be an argument that a coaching change is needed. Might be. I mean, we got a 3-point lead on the Leafs right now. We play them in a couple of weeks. But it's tough to argue a coaching change when we're 42, 19, and 6, you know? I think we can just kind of hope for the best come playoff time because we're going to make it. But also, I mean, at the same time, you can argue that, oh my God, we just kicked the shit out of Edmonton. You know, you could argue that there are signs that things should change. You could also argue that patience is a virtue. As we are approaching 50 wins. We beat the Leafs. We have clinched a playoff spot. Will it be 50 wins by April 1st? Beat San Jose. Beat New Jersey. 50, 21, and 7. We have clinched a playoff spot. 10th in goals, 4th in goals against, top 5 power play, top 3 PK. Michael Misa approaching 100 points. Kirill Koltsov has been a tremendous tandem to run with Ivankovic. You know, with Jack, he's still going to be the starter come playoff time. But it might be a short leash again. We had to do that with Aiden Hill before. But then again, Jack could turn it on for the playoffs. So, 82 games in the books. 53 wins. Yet that is only good enough for second in our division, as per usual. 53, 22, and 7. The Boston Bruins will play the Montreal Canadiens. We will take on not the Ottawa Senators, the Toronto Maple Leafs, as Ottawa heads to the Metro to take on Philadelphia. New Jersey plays the New York Islanders. On the West, Edmonton, on the western side, Edmonton plays San Jose. Calgary plays Vancouver. And the Seattle Kraken will take on Colorado, with Dallas drawing Chicago. So we are back in the playoffs, as you would suspect. The Boston Bruins win the President's Trophy. We finished 3rd in the league, which is kind of ridiculous. And again, we already know where, goals were ranging and all of that, or team stats. In terms of the team, you know what? Let's go look from the other side. But we just saw some incredible news, didn't we? We did. First and foremost, Greg Taves, 55 points and a plus 40. That should be a Calder winner right there for the former 4th overall pick, who once upon a time was going to be drafted by Chicago until we said, no, thank you, he's ours. Very nice from Greg Taves. Michael Misa, Captain Jar Jar, with a career-high 102 points. Way to go, Cap. And then, Ruben Green, the Cole Caulfield replacement. 62 goals. Gold Schneip. We bet on the right guy. We bet on the right horse here with Ruben Green. 18 power play goals this season. out of 22 power play points. Unreal. Unreal from Ruben Green. Phenomenal. On the second line, Ivar Stenberg does develop silver third eye. 60 points, 50 assists. Perfect. That's exactly what we needed him to be. Centered by Jakub Wozniak with, again, anything over 50 points I'm happy with. He was approaching 60 with a plus 23, up from the 54 points he had last year. Very nice. And on the right, Alessandro Diorio. Obviously, I think if he was on the top line, he could do that much more damage. But 64 points, 36 goals. Very good with that. Again, you could argue next year to try and run Taves, Stenberg, Wozniak with Diorio, Misa Green, but Diorio is still a very, very good player. Third line, Dalton Priestop. 16 goals, 6 assists, not bad. 30 points, -5 for Brooks Rogowski. 28 points and a +2 for Ozzy Weisblatt. Fourth line, Kevin He, 18 points, but a -15. Marco Kaltonen, 23 points. Very good. -6, though. And then 25 points and a -4 for Zether. So there's some questions. He's becoming who? God damn it. There's some questions about the bottom 6, but obviously, like, this team goes as far as that top 6 can carry us. Defensively, Jordan Harris, 45 points and a +23. He'd be doing so much better if he'd changed to a two-way, but he won't listen. Also, how about that for Jordan Harris? Gold in reverse. That man can skate. What a guy. 65 points for Landon DuPont. A +25. As Landon takes a big-time step up. He's got 2 years left after this on his deal before we get priced out. Keandre Miller develops silver truculence. 12 goals, 22 assists, and a +23 for the 33-year-old that we got to replace Nick Hague, who was in decline. I mean, yeah, 147 hits, 112 blocks. He plays that physical style. Brock Cripps, 53 points and a +18. Tremendous from him. Carson Cameron, 14 points and a +11. 16 points and a +12 for Kavasha. In goal, Ivankovic. 910 save percentage by the end of the year. Not bad. Not as good as we have seen him be in the past. But, I mean, he's now played 6 seasons for us. This was his fewest amount of games played because he was not signed until the middle/end of November. And then shout out, honestly, to Kirill Koltsov. Awesome. If Ivankovic leaves, and he will, team might be in good hands with Kirill Koltsov. And then the good thing is Esa Latikainen, who I think went up a point, we're going to be able to send him down to the AHL. So that team is going to get even more of a boost. Robichaud apparently lost silver all alone. But yeah, look at the top line scoring in the AHL. Tremendous. Tremendous, tremendous. Yeah, AHL team looks phenomenal. See, Manny James in the AHL, 917 in 47 games. Peterman up to a 53. So playing him early seems to have worked. We continue to be in a really good spot despite the challenges and the hurdles thrown in front of us. But there's the high bar that we have yet to clear, which is getting back to the Stanley Cup final. After losing to the Oilers a couple of years ago. This is Jack Ivankovic's last run. We are totally priced out on him. It's not even close. Essentially, what's going to happen is that we're going to hope that he gets an offer sheet. If he doesn't, then we're going to have to trade him because we're not going to be able to sign him. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. There's just no other way to put it. He is 100% on his way out. Yeah. Sucks, but we have no shot at keeping him. But let's see if we can avoid that situation entirely. Back in the playoffs, the Toronto Maple Leafs stand in our way.